Should you buy or should you rent? When it comes to where you live, both have their advantages. As a renter, if you decide you want to live somewhere else, you don't have to worry about selling first before you can move. And if something breaks, like an appliance or the hot water tank, it's usually not you who has to pay for the repairs. On the other hand, as a homeowner, you have the security of knowing that there's no landlord who's going to come along and raise your rent or evict you and your family unexpectedly. And homeownership gives you the opportunity to build equity with each mortgage payment. Not to mention, you'll have the pride of ownership. And these are just a few examples. The debate between buying and selling really is endless. But from a purely financial standpoint, which makes more sense for you? In this video, we'll dive into the cost between renting versus buying a condo in Kelowna so that you can make an informed decision. I'm Tyrell Boake, a realtor in Kelowna, and on this channel, I help you navigate the real estate market and provide you with useful information so you can make informed decisions that make sense for you. If you get any value out of today's video, hit the like and subscribe buttons so that other people like you can see this video too. Interest rates are currently around 5%, so you're probably thinking there is no way that buying is cheaper than renting right now. Getting a mortgage at 5 to 6% doesn't look like it would make good financial sense. But we have to keep in mind that renting is essentially 100% interest too. So what's the difference between buying and renting a condo in Kelowna right now? Let's break it down and see how the numbers compare. The first thing we should look at is how much rental prices are for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Kelowna. If you're looking at a low-rise building with about 4 stories, you can expect to pay anywhere from $2,000 to $2,600 per month. If you want to be closer to downtown and some of the newer buildings, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo is about $2,200 to $2,900 a month. If we look at what the benchmark price of a condo is in Kelowna right now, in April it was $508,000, which is actually down 2% from last year where it was at $518,000. If you wanted to see what a mortgage payment would be on something like that, let's start at $499,000. We're going to assume that you're a good negotiator, or your realtor is, and they were able to get that benchmark price down below $500,000 for you. If you take a mortgage with the minimum down payment, which is 5% for a CMHC insured mortgage, your down payment required is $24,950. When we add in the CMHC insurance for the mortgage, the total amount you would mortgage on this property is $493,000. If you take a 25-year mortgage and you're lucky enough to get one of the good rates that RateHub is advertising right now at 4.79%, your monthly payment is going to be roughly $2,800. Let's say for some reason your interest rate is a little bit higher, but it's on par with the Bank of Canada rate and you're at 4.99%, your payment on that same property is going to be $2,800. And if interest rates do come down before you buy, which is a gamble, your payment would be $2,700. But let's just say that you're not looking at the high end of the budget and you look at a price and you get your condo for $450,000. That same 5% down payment is $22,500. We add in the CMHC insurance fees. That will bring your mortgage to $444,000. Over 25 years at 4.79%, your mortgage payment would be just over $2,500. If you're slightly higher on the rate with that same down payment, you're at $2,583. And I do know that you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Kelowna for around $450,000 or less, because I just helped one of my buyers get into one of these properties not that long ago. In fact, if we do a quick search, we can see that there are quite a few properties in that $450,000 range up to $460,000. So there's a lot to pick from in that $450 price range right now. So if we compare what your monthly cost is to rent versus buy, the monthly rent range that we looked at was anywhere from $2,000 to $2,900 a month. So I picked a number right in the middle, which is $2,500. The mortgage payment on that same product at $450,000 purchase price with 5% down is $2,583, which is a difference of $83 a month where the rent would be cheaper. There is one thing that I left out of this calculation, and that's monthly strata fees. As a homeowner, you're going to have some strata fees for the building that you're in, but those range anywhere from $300 to $500 to $600 and on up from there and differ from building to building. It's something you want to keep in mind when you're buying. But if your mortgage payment was $2,500 and you're looking at a building where the average rent was $2,800 or $2,900, which is the top end of where the rental window is right now, you could still be under the average rent price in some buildings, factoring in your mortgage payment and your strata payment. If, for example, we took the rental payment out over 5 years, Your rental payment of $2,500 a month over 60 months would equal $150,000 that you would pay in rent over that 5-year period. Over that same period, if we look at an amortization schedule for a mortgage, you would pay about $155,000 in mortgage payments. So over 5 years, the difference between renting and buying is about $5,000 in this case. But if you look at the far bottom right, your mortgage balance at the end of 5 years is $393,000. If no changes happen in the market and the prices stayed the same and they didn't go up, after 5 years of paying a mortgage payment, you would have roughly $56,000 of equity that you've built over that 5-year period, whereas if you're renting, you're going to end up with zero equity. Now, I understand there's still some buyers in the market that are waiting for interest rates to come down, so I want to show you the difference between what the rates are now for your payment and what your payment would be if those rates come down. Currently, if we take the Bank of Canada overnight rate at 4.99% and you take that $450,000 mortgage with 5% down, your monthly payment is $2,583. If you wait for rates to come down 1/4 point to where you're at 4.74%, it's going to save you only $63 a month. And one risk that you're going to run here if you wait for interest rates to come down is there's a lot of pent-up demand in the market right now and a lot of buyers that are waiting for rates to come down. If that happens and all those buyers jump back into the market, it's going to put upward pressure on prices, and that $63 of savings a month that you'd save by having a 1/4 point lower on your interest rate is going to be eaten up almost immediately by the increases in prices. The other financial consideration here is if you wait 6 months or a year for interest rates to come down before you get into the market so that you save that roughly $63 a month, you're missing out on building equity every single month that you're not making a mortgage payment. The last thing financially to consider right now, whether you should buy or rent a condo in Kelowna, is that our inventory has been growing rapidly over the last 6 months, going from roughly 500 or less than 500 listings to just under 800 listings. This is a great window of opportunity for you right now to have a lot of choice in what you want to buy because there's a lot of inventory. The other advantage to that is there's not going to be multiple offers on most properties, so you're not competing with other buyers and you stand a chance of actually getting a deal on the property you're looking at. On paper, there really isn't much difference between renting and buying a condo in Kelowna right now. The decision ultimately comes down to what your goals are. Do you want the flexibility of being able to move and not having to worry about selling your property first and also not having the responsibility for maintenance and repairs? Or do you want the security of home ownership and the ability to build equity with each monthly payment? I can't answer that for you, but if you have more questions about real estate or buying a condo or a home in Kelowna, hit the first link in the description where you can book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Or you can hit the other link in the description to download my free informed home buyer's guide. Thanks for watching.